When you have two teams at the top of the table, tied for the same amount of wins and loss, when they face off against each other, one of them is gonna falter and lose that position. Welcome to that top of the table clash between Fnatic and Misfits. Let's jump into today's picks and bans for you guys. With pretty lights going in the background, I think it's time we jump straight into Champion Select. And as always, we're going to start with the bans. Now, what we see here is Misfits banning out the Karthus, the Syndra, and the Ornn, and Fnatic banning out the Gragas, the Senna, and the Sejuani. Now, one major thing to note before we jump into the nitty-gritty of each ban is we see 3 bans out of the 6 targeted at the junglers, and that kind of leads us to think that we're going to be seeing quite a heavy priority on the jungle picks, and yeah, we do in the end. And we see Karthus, who's just a press R champion. Syndra is very, very good, flex either lane. Obviously, we see Misfits banning that because maybe Reckless can pilot that down in the bot lane, or even Nemesis in the mid lane, it can be flexed to either lane. And Ornn is banned because Ornn is just a god tank meta and everything. He's just so good, especially the fact that he can just use his ult to do a lot of damage. And on the Misfit side, Sedge, very, very bulky tank, obviously banned. Gragas, Disruption, very annoying. And Senna is kind of the iffy one. Like, I don't see why you'd ban that, but I guess it's because you can also flex it to support, so yeah, that is a nice ban, nevertheless, I guess. So, with the bans over and done with, Misfits quickly lock in a Pantheon. Now, Pantheon obviously is very, very good, it's a safe pick, can be played in 4 lanes, technically, even though there's only 3 lanes. It can be played jungle, it can be played top, it can be played mid as well as support. It's a very, very nice pick, very, very good. Obviously, you can use that Grand Starfall to land in battle and do a lot of damage. A nice global ult that allows you to travel very quickly. In response, we see a Gangplank pickup and an Aphelios pickup from Fnatic. Obviously, Gangplank is very, very strong, has a high amount of barrel chain burst, and obviously there isn't much matchups to it that can beat it. Obviously, if you do get jumped on by Pantheon, hit by his WE combo, you just apple or lemon it away and run back to safety. And the Aphelios obviously is probably the most highest tier mid bot laner in the game. Obviously, high amount of damage, very, very good at team fighting as well as healing and taking objectives. In response, we see Desire and Rakan picked up for Misfits. Very, very good, safe bot lane, and obviously you can use that charm in tow with the Grand Starfall and the Pantheon. Just pull him into where he's landing with that charm, and it makes it so easy to actually land a combo on him. And what does Fnatic take in response? Well, the safe option here is obviously to pick that support, and they pick up their Tahm Kench. It does work well with the Aphelios. Obviously, Aphelios can suffer sometimes with his mobility, so taking Tahm Kench does allow him to get, say, closer to proc them mark charges, or even launching an ult, as well as save him from situations where he's locked into that ultimate cast time and just allow him to get out, as well as it also provides a response to the Pantheon, which is nice because Pantheon can TP around on its own. Tahm Kench can TP around with another person, so yeah, that is a very, very nice pickup into the Pantheon. Last ban phase time now, and we see more targeting at the jungle as 3 of these 4 bans are thrown at it, as we see by Misfits the Jarvan and the Lee Sin ban, and Fnatic banning out the Talia and the Vlad. Obviously Vlad to kind of limit the top lane matchups into that Gangplank. Obviously Vlad can just pull the GP barrels, and Talia is obviously a big jungler, Jarvan's a jungler, and Lee Sin's a jungler, all with good engage. Obviously, you can use the Talia to roam around the map, so I like that ban by Fnatic, so it stops that Pantheon being a lone, well, makes it more of a lone roaming threat, and kind of easier to deal with instead of having to deal with a Pantheon top lane and a Talia wall that can obviously pin them in to the Grand Starfall. You just put the wall behind where you're landing, so it's impossible to escape essentially. So that is a very, very nice set of bans there. And the good thing for us is we can just jump straight into the last picks here for each team, as it's very, very interesting. So we're here at the last picks for the game, and Fnatic take here the safe option. They pick up their jungler in the Rek'Sai. Now, there is champions like Elise that would work really well with this team comp because you obviously are high AD damage. So if you take the Elise, you can obviously have that early game AP burst heavy jungler that can obviously roam quite quick. But instead they go for someone who can obviously borrow on the ground and execute with that AD burst damage, and does allow you to keep track of, say, whoever's in the jungle quite easily. In response, we do see an Azir and a set pickup by Misfits. Azir, obviously, you can use his Sand Soldiers to shuffle around the map, get roaming between lanes, create an advantage in them lanes, and then roam all the way back to mid and push up his lane. And Set is just a strong bruiser. It kind of signifies to Fnatic where that Pantheon is going to be, in which it's actually going to be in the jungle. Set obviously is a very, very good top laner, very bruiser heavy damage, and obviously can provide a lot of threat to Teamfight's late game with that Haymaker true damage. And what do Fnatic pick in response? Well, they go for probably the best option into a Nazir, into a Pantheon, and a Rakan. They go for the thing that can just lock them up instantly, the Veigar. Veigar is very, very good in this matchup. You just place your E down, you then get a load of damage out onto them because they're trapped inside the cage. Just W them, just Q them, and if they're low enough, just press R and kill them off. Very, very nice pickup there, and is very, very strong as a team fight heavy champion, and also a pick heavy champion in certain cases. So I do like these drafts from either team. I do believe Fnatic got the advantage at the end of it as a whole, and I do think that this is going to be a very, very intense and explosive battle as we head on to the Rift to break down for you guys the team fight of the day between Fnatic and Misfits Gaming. So we join the game 24 minutes in. We see Misfits are down 3 Drakes, 5 kills, as well as 6k gold, and they're essentially on their last legs as the last Drake is alive, and Fnatic are positioning towards it in order to try and kill it and win the game off of Cloud Soul. So Misfits have one option but to try and fight here and get a pick, as immediately at the start of this team fight we see Azir TPing behind Fnatic into a safe zone where he's able to sit and pray and try and catch out one of the unfortunate Fnatic players. Now that unlucky Fnatic member was Reckless, who gets immediately Shurima shuffled into the Pantheon, who stun locks him down and absolutely decimates him. Azir is then the sacrifice for the remaining members of Misfits Gaming to try and escape. However, Rakan and Set both get caught in the death cage, and it isn't the Rakan who dies. The bigger fish gets burnt, as Set is the next to fall in this team fight. And from this, the remaining members of Misfits are able to escape in a 2-for-1 trade that slightly favours them since they shut down Reckless. However, Misfits are unable to contest the Cloud Drake, giving over a free Cloud Soul to Fnatic, which essentially allows them to push out and win the game. So let's take a look at the game at its entirety, and we're going to start with the draft phase. And quite heavily, I do feel Fnatic won that. That Veigar pick, providing so much counter to the entire Misfits lineup, was huge. Has a lot of scaling as well, and was very easy to obviously feed kills in AP so that it could just be a dominant threat to carry the game through. As for the early game, Fnatic won that drastically in the game. GP and Veigar got early kills at 6 minutes at least, 2 kills on Whippo, Nemesis had 1 as well, and they were just able to snowball through with their dominant and always having an answer to any sort of Misfits play style, that it just meant that they were able to get through the game with ease, shall we say, as the carries on Misfits were unable to sort of like gain an advantage back because they were just put so far behind. Now, Misfits did try and keep it close by getting kills here and there. They took it to 8 kills to 12 at one point. Obviously, they're taking picks here and there where necessary, creating them 2v1s or 3v2s to obviously get shutdowns onto, say, the Veigar or a GP in order to get themselves back into the game. And as for that play we just broke down, that was sort of one of them tries to pick off Reckless, who was on a kill streak, had a bounty, and was very, very dangerous and probably the most damaging champion bar the Veigar on the field. So it was overall a good play, bar the fact that they were just so far behind that they really could not respond, and they kind of lost the game from it. But that's going to be it. If you enjoyed this, leave a like down below, subscribe if you want to, wherever you want to, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.